Hello, my name is Kevin Thompson. I am the Parks Manager for the City of Oxnard. This is the Parks Maintenance and Priority presentation for the Public Works and Transportation Committee. The recommendation is that the Public Works and Transportation Committee receive and file an update from the Parks Division regarding its workload and priorities. With the passing of Measure E, the City Council provided additional funding to restore and maintain the city's parks and landscapes. Contracts were established to address routine services such as mowing, trash removal, janitorial services for park restrooms, gopher control, and other general landscape maintenance tasks throughout the city, city parks and city street landscapes. Also, on-call agreements were put in place for services such as irrigation repair, tree grid pruning, other tree arboricultural services, fence and wall repair, as well as plumbing and electrical tasks. The Parks Division for the Public Works Department divides up its workload into 5 subdivisions. They are the Parks, Measure O, Street Landscapes, Graffiti Abatement Program, and the Urban Forestry subdivisions. The Park Subdivision is responsible for maintaining 34 general fund parks, 1.7 miles of Oxnard Beach, and 4 undeveloped lots, which are slated to become parks one day. Measure O subdivision is responsible for maintaining 2 parks. Those are College Park and East Village. The Street Landscapes subdivision is responsible for maintaining the citywide general fund street landscapes consisting of parkways, medians, right-of-ways, and certain identified parking lots. Graffiti Abatement Program is responsible for removal of graffiti and stickers citywide, and that is mostly in the Urban Forestry subdivision is responsible for the health and maintenance of over 25,000 general fund trees, and will also provide assistance for special districts in arboricultural needs or for arborist assistance. The Park Subdivision. The areas of maintenance. So again, there are 34 parks maintained by the Park Subdivision, totaling in 270 total acres. 192 of those acres are turf. At the beach, there's 47 acres that are maintained, that are the actual on-the-beach sand acres. And the undeveloped lots are just over 54 acres, totaling 371 acres or 16.1 million square feet. As you can see in the pie chart here, we have just about 73% of the area of responsibility are in identified parks. Approximately 15% are in the undeveloped lots and 13% on the beach sand itself. For Measure O, they are maintaining these 2 parks, College Park and East Village Park. Total maintenance area is 53 acres or 2.2 million square feet, and about 31 acres of that is turf. The street landscapes, they have 1,965 identified locations, which are planters, medians, right-of-ways, parking lots, and so on, that total 186 acres or 8.1 million square feet. They also oversee the maintenance of the tree cutouts within the arterial streets, which are 760 of those, and 45 parking lots, totaling 27 acres or 1.1 million square feet. Apologies. The Graffiti Action Program, again, they are in charge of abatement of graffiti throughout the city. And everywhere you can put graffiti, they are responsible for it. There's a few examples here: walls, fences, benches, signs, trash cans, doors, windows, playgrounds, sidewalks, utility boxes, poles, curbs, trees, drinking fountains, tables, and more. The Urban Forestry subdivision maintains approximately 25,000 plus general fund trees, and again also provides staff and arborist support services to special districts as needed. So the park subdivision staffing and tasks. The park subdivision has 15 full-time employee positions dedicated for field work. Those positions are broken down into several crews. There's a landscape crew, a Parks 311 crew, weekend crew, an infrastructure maintenance crew, and the Olikoi Beach Park crew. In fiscal year 22-23, these 15 FTEs had a potential of 31,200 potential work hours for the year. In the same year, this team of 15 took 8,416 hours of leave, various leave, which also included vacancies. And that time frame is equivalent to approximately 4 full-time employees being absent. That left approximately 2,300 actual available working hours, or the equivalent of 11 full-time employees. So that's a reduction of 27% in the available labor force for this subdivision. The impact of this reduction in the available staff affects individual crews differently depending on the size of the crew. As you can see, the landscape crew has 8 full-time employees. The Parks 311, the weekend and infrastructure maintenance team have 2, and then the Olikoi Beach Park has 1. So as we're consistently having approximately 4 staff out at any one given time, you can see how the impact would be significant on any of the crews that have 2 staff in them. If it's one person being out or both of them being out, it's either a 50% or 100% reduction in the efficiency and effectiveness of that crew, meaning someone from another crew has to be identified to take on those tasks, or those tasks just don't get accomplished. So it is significant. The landscape crew for the parks, they oversee a tremendous amount of varied tasks. They are dealing with mostly the more complex tasks, as we have the contractors doing the routine, ongoing maintenance, such as the mow and blow and so on that we covered earlier. So our parks team is dealing with a lot more of those complex irrigation issues, dealing with urgent needs of vandalism repairs, irrigation checks, daily park inspections, always dealing with graffiti and drug paraphernalia removal, litter, homeless issues, and then of course the turf maintenance that goes along with all of our parks and so on. I won't read through this whole list, but it's a significant list there. The Parks 311 crew, they are focused on responding to the 311s within the parks. They also assist, I should also back up and say all of the parks staff members assist with opening and checking restrooms every morning. And along with this, they do just a brief park inspection to see if there's any obvious problems or hazards every morning. And so this 311 crew, again, focuses on the 311 requests, which are mostly illegal dumping, loose litter, graffiti, homelessness issues. They do a lot of pressure washing and so on. Weekend crews. So as much of the city is on a 980, the majority of the parks staff is on a 980 work schedule as well, meaning on Friday and Saturday, on Saturday and Sunday, there is no other dedicated staff, excuse me, and every other Friday as well. So we do have a 2-person weekend crew that is dedicated to just being out in the parks, opening the restrooms, checking the parks, assisting with the needs of as they come up over the weekends. They also help supplement the trash can services that the contractors do if we have a heavy weekend and there's a lot of trash that the contractors already came through the park, and you know, there's just more overflowing cans, so they'll take care of those as well. The parks infrastructure maintenance crew is a 2-person crew, and they are dedicated to addressing the infrastructure repair, complex maintenance tasks, trades such as electrical, plumbing, carpentry, masonry, asset condition, and larger projects as well. And we keep them very, very busy. The Olikoi Beach Park crew, they are a one-person team. And again, this is one of our 2 regional parks that we have throughout the city. And it is heavily used. The residents have a very high expectation for this park. And it has some unique challenges because, of course, it is a significant amount of it is sand, dealing with sand management and clearing of paths and access, especially for ADA pathways and such. Challenges for the park subdivision. Of course, the reduction in available staff is one of the first and foremost. Also, staff are responsible for responding to urgent and emergency situations such as backed up toilets, hazardous waste disposal, vagrants causing facilities to be closed for various reasons, irrigation breaks and leaks, vandalism to park amenities such as people setting trash cans on fire, playgrounds on fire, you name it, they'll try to set it on fire, much more. Also, park staff have been tasked with special projects such as assisting other divisions and subdivisions with skilled and unskilled maintenance tasks. In the past, throughout the city, when there was a need for a labor or a landscape task, parks was usually the first call. And to put things in perspective, approximately 46% of the subdivision's workload is addressing graffiti, homelessness issues, illegal dumping, and other trash-related tasks. That leaves only approximately half of the remaining workforce to do all the other tasks that are required throughout the park's area of responsibility. For Measure O, we have 4 full-time employees dedicated for field work. They are broken up into 2 crews of 2 employees each. And because the Measure O team oversees work at College Park and at East Village, College Park is our other regional park and is extremely high visitation, high usage. It is, there's a high school directly across the street. There's a skate park there, the one skate park we have identified here in the city. We have large open areas in the backside of College Park. All of this means it brings in a lot of usage. There are a lot of events that happen. There are a lot of festivals. We have ongoing soccer throughout the year. We have the only premium fields, well, 5 of the 6 premium fields that we have for soccer play there. So it's a heavily used and utilized resource, which is great. But it also brings in significant interactions with a lot of different people. And so I'll touch on that in just a minute. These 4 full-time employees have the potential of about 8,300 working hours per year. This team took 2,149 hours of leave and vacancies, equivalent to approximately 1 full-time employee. And that left the equivalent of 3 full-time employees to do the job of 4. And again, that's a reduction of about 26%. The impacts of this reduction in available staff is especially significant with this subdivision. The assigned staff is dedicated to 2 crew members, 2 crews with 2 crew members each. And again, because of the high usage of this park, we need 7-day-a-week coverage. And because of this, the 2 crews are staggered in their schedules. One is Sunday through Thursday, the other is Tuesday through Saturday. And that means that there are 4 employees, if everyone shows up, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, when Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, there would be 2 employees. So you can see that just by having 1 person absent at any one given time is either a 25 to 50% reduction in productivity. This team, the intent of this crew was, with the Measure O funding, was to fund a crew that will take on all maintenance tasks within these 2 parks. And because of that, contractors were not allocated to assist in these parks. So this crew is responsible not only for all the more complex and larger projects, but also the ongoing routine maintenance of mow and blow and trimming of hedges and taking out trash, cleaning the restrooms every night, and so on. So they have their hands full. Some of the challenges, of course, is the reduction in available staff. And as we talked about, the Measure O funds were identified to make available city staff to perform all the maintenance tasks, and we don't use contractors to supplement there. And as alluded to before, the highest level of confrontational interactions between staff and homeless, users of the skate park, people playing soccer, and delinquents happens at this park. It's a very difficult working situation at times. We have reached out to OPD and have been working with them to help assist us, but without having dedicated park enforcement within the Parks Division, it is challenging to say the least. And approximately 33% of the the subdivision's workload is addressing graffiti, homelessness issues, illegal dumping, and other trash-related tasks. For the street landscape subdivision, there are 8 full-time employee positions allocated for field work. That's broken up into 2 crews. We have a street landscapes crew and a street landscapes 311 crew. The potential hours for this 8-person crew is 16,640 potential hours each year. This crew took 4,491 hours of leave and vacancy, which is equivalent to 2.2 full-time employees, leaving the equivalent of 5.8 full-time employees available at any given time, which is a reduction of 27% in the labor force. The impact of reduction of available staff affects the individual crews differently depending on the size. Like we spoke about with other crews, if we have the 2-person crew and we have 1 person out, that's a 50% reduction. If we have 2 people out, that is 100% reduction. So the street landscapes team is responsible for overseeing and maintaining all of the street landscapes. And we do have contractors working on just over 80% of the city's landscape. So that leaves just under 20% of the landscape identified for this crew to maintain on a regular and ongoing basis. So they do the regular mowing and blowing and trimming of hedges and cleaning up of trash in about 20% there. And then they also take on all the responsibilities in which the contractor does not have within their contracts, such as irrigation repair throughout the city and proactive checks of things and litter abatement, supplementing with litter abatement, homelessness issues, large and complex irrigation issues, 311 requests, and a whole lot more. The Street Landscapes 311 crew, which is a 2-person crew, is responsible for responding to the 311s, which are mostly illegal dumping, loose litter, homeless encampments, and also on a regular basis assist the street landscapes crew with larger projects and storm cleanup. Challenges for the street landscapes is, of course, the reduction of available staff. That staff is responsible for responding to urgent and emergency situations such as irrigation breaks and leaks, vehicle accidents that damage city property, especially if it's involved with irrigation, backflows, and things like that. Staff is also tasked with special projects such as assisting other divisions and subdivisions with skilled and unskilled maintenance tasks, as well as intermittent landscaping around various city properties not identified as a responsibility of this subdivision. Approximately 46% of this subdivision's workload is addressing homelessness issues, illegal dumping, and other trash-related tasks. For the urban forestry subdivision, we have 4 full-time employees that are identified for the field work. That is equal to just over 8,000 potential work hours each year. This crew took 1,580 hours of leave and vacancies, which is equivalent to 0.8 FTE, which leaves the equivalent of 3.2 FTEs, or a reduction of 19%. And the impact of this crew directly corresponds to the response time of residential tree trims, which is currently a backlog of just under 600 requests, in which we are now at 9 to 12 months response time for. This crew's main tasks are to respond to residential tree trims, for root pruning to mitigate for infrastructure damage, removing and chipping of hanging and down limbs, responding to 311s, delivering mulch, and a variety of other tasks, and which include assisting other divisions and subdivisions, and of course responding to urgent and emergency tree-related issues. And these challenges are, of course, a reduction in available staff. Staff are responsible for responding to urgent and emergency situations, as just discussed. Some of these situations are vehicle accidents that damage city trees. If we have fallen trees or large limbs that come down throughout the city, on residents' homes, on residents' cars, in the streets, as well as storm-related damage to trees. It's also very challenging to maintain such a large inventory of trees with a very, very small crew. And we have been working with old equipment and vehicles, and a lot of times spend time in the shop. And because of the nature of this equipment, a lot of them are not. We don't have these resources in other divisions that we could borrow throughout the city, and a lot of times we don't have the ability to rent the specific equipment that we need. So it is challenging when a piece of equipment goes down to keep that specific workflow going. The Gap subdivision, there are 5 full-time employees positions for field work. They are broken down into 3 crews, crew A, B, and C. And crew C was recently added. We reallocated 1 position from Parks to the Parks subdivision into the Gap subdivision, and that person became crew C. And the intent of that person was or that position was to focus solely on removal of graffiti within parks, and when those tasks were done, to supplement the other two crews throughout the city. In fiscal year 22-23, this 5-employee team, as I was trying to say, had the potential for 10,400 hours that year. This team had 2,779 hours of leave and vacancy, which was equivalent to 1.3 full-time employees. That left the equivalent of 3.7 full-time employees to do the job of this 5-person team. The impact of this reduction in available staff directly correlates to the number of removal requests which can be accomplished, as well as lengthening the response time to these requests and requiring park staff to shift from their scheduled tasks to assist with the removal of graffiti in parks that the Gap team does not have the bandwidth to accomplish, even though we had assigned that additional position with the intent of doing so. And this graffiti team is responsible for removing graffiti and stickers throughout the city, mostly in the city right away, but also on private property. Challenges for this team is, of course, the reduction in available staff time, and it is a very small crew that is to maintain a very large area. And they do work with old vehicles and equipment which are consistently in the shop for service. Division-wide, the admin and leadership staff, the Parks Division shares all of its administrative support team with 1 or more divisions. These staff members are responsible for clerical, financial, leadership, and administrative duties. There are 10 full-time positions identified for the administrative and leadership team. There is one parks manager, there are 4 field supervisors, 1 for street landscapes, 1 for parks and trees, 1 for Measure O, and 1 for GAP. There is 1 financial analyst, which is shared with the Parks Division, Facilities, and Special Districts Division. This position has been vacant and is currently vacant. There is 1 Administrative Services Coordinator, which is shared with Parks and Facilities. This position is also vacant. There's 1 Administrative Secretary, which is shared with Parks, Facilities, and Public Works Admin, as well as 2 Office Assistants, which are shared with Parks and Facilities. So addressing these challenges division-wide, we address them in several ways. First is to prioritize tasks, and we prioritize them based on the risk of harm to people, property, and infrastructure. Also by ensuring that we have an equitable usage of our resource throughout the city for our residential needs. And then also making sure to prioritize by city council priorities. We also try our best to assign realistic timeframes for completion based on available resources, and then letting the specific party or group know who's requesting this work, what that time frame is, and it might not always make them happy, but providing a realistic time frames means that we can temper our expectations and make sure that expectations are realistic, and also to follow through and complete when we say we're going to, as opposed to saying we'll get something done when we just can't get it done, and then we fail at it. Also, communicate with other divisions to schedule work and avoid conflicts with existing projects and events. In the past, many divisions have worked in silos and not communicated with their fellow divisions, and this has caused conflict and overlapping work in the past. And we've been trying to reach out to other divisions to make sure that if it's within someone else's work area or corresponding to it, that we kind of share that working knowledge and understand what's going on here and how we can potentially work together and make things more efficient. For fiscal year 22-23 accomplishments, work is scheduled and tracked on a work order system developed by the city's internal IT department specifically for Parks Division. It is being constantly updated and improved to provide better data, but at this point, we don't always have the correct data points to provide clarity and description to some of these work assignments. And knowing that work assignments, the term work assignment, it can vary in size and complexity. A work assignment can be replacing 1 sprinkler head. It can be going through an entire parks irrigation system that may take several weeks, and replacing multiple valves, multiple electrical systems, multiple irrigation components. So it can be a little bit misleading just looking at the numbers by themselves. But again, the Parks Division is working on ways to improve our data collection so that we can provide more complete and clear understanding of what the work is being done out there. But with that being said, the Park Subdivision completed over 3,500 work assignments last year. Measure O completed over 2,600. The street landscapes completed over 2,500 work assignments. The urban forestry subdivision completed over 2,200 work assignments, and out of those, 640 were 311 requests. The graffiti action program completed 33,683 work assignments, and out of that, 6,046 were 311 requests. Going forward, scheduling and prioritization are the key measures for managing daily operations. However, with these measures, the continuous rate of requests, complaints, and shifting priorities limit our resources and ability to complete tasks on schedule. Overcoming many years of deferred maintenance will not occur instantly. Moving away from a purely reactive mode to proactive work plans and assignments will take time and a focused effort on efficiencies. Immediately reacting to requests for non-emergency or unplanned urgent items will always be a step in the wrong direction, away from a proactive mode. It is always the goal of staff to respond to requests. However, non-emergency or non-urgent items should not be prioritized over urgent work or planned work. Otherwise, inefficiencies occur. There is no direct financial impact as this item is a receive and file report. Thank you.